We had a big week on Spicer&Co. I want to show you a couple of the clips that we had. We talked about transportation with Elaine Chao post-COVID. We talked about the media and how they're covering certain stories or not. We're talking about the Tara Reade story and what that means for Joe Biden's campaign and the hypocrisy of the left. We talked about China with Congressman Mark Walker, and we had some great lighter moments, like with Charlie Daniels talking about what he's doing for veterans. The Department of Transportation's got its hands full with COVID-19. You want to hear what Elaine Chao has to say.
You know, each of these airlines are conducting safe measures on their own. We don't need to remind them of that. They care about their passengers. They care about the safety of their passengers.
How do we hold China accountable for what they're doing? That's the million-dollar question I asked Representative Mark Walker from North Carolina.
But Sean, I don't think we have a choice. When 95% of our antibiotics are made from the chemicals there in China, how can we trust these people? I'm also the ranking member for intelligence and counterterrorism, and I will tell you that even during this pandemic season, they have continued to cyber attack us thousands of times a day, and we've got good evidence that the bulk of this is state-sponsored.
This is a great example of how the media covers itself up. You're going to want to see this story, how they change the headlines. And then Lindsay and I also had a really interesting story about how the media is covering Tara Reade.
First rule of journalism is start to check for the sources. So they did. They called Eric Trump. He spent 30 minutes on the phone with them telling them that this story was false because they hadn't had an interest in this building since 2012. So then he tweets out, article should have read, Trump as businessman had a passive, non-controlling managing interest in an office building which had finance for the Bank of China for less than 22 days in 2012. Shelby, it seems to me that if you were writing a story and going to your editors with something, they would ask you, did you reach out? Can you confirm the facts? And you would say, actually, no, I didn't. And then they wouldn't run it.
Yeah, that's completely right. And Vince can attest to that.
Joe Biden has been accused of sexually assaulting a staffer more than 25 years ago. But Biden has been silent, and the mainstream media has been almost silent up until now. Since the allegations became public a month ago, the presumptive Democratic nominee has been interviewed 9 times. You see the list right there. But in these 9 interviews, a total of 76 questions were asked. And guess what? Not once, the Tara Reade accusations were mentioned to him. Not once of all those. And you can see the number of questions that every one of them asked. And look at this. Since the accusation became public on March 25th, mainstream media has given the story just 27 minutes and 31 seconds of airtime.
Well, when you contrast that with the coverage of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh when the sexual assault allegation was made against him, the broadcast networks, get this, devoted 344 minutes, and that was just in 12 days.
Well, I think this is absolutely hypocrisy at its finest by Democrats. They sit there and again, time and again, pay lip service to causes in this country, the Me Too movement, that women should be believed. But then when it actually push comes to shove with Joe Biden, they sit there in silence and they perpetrate lies to say that there was a deep dive and investigation and these haven't been proven. And now I'm sitting here with another Democrat who is trying to whitewash this for Joe Biden. There are serious allegations here, and every woman should be believed in these because facts matter. The facts have not been looked into about what happened with Joe Biden.
K.T. McFarland was General Flynn's deputy at the National Security Council. You want to see what happened to her and Michael Flynn. This is so good.
You know, I was probably the most powerful woman in the West Wing of the White House. General Flynn was one of the most powerful people in the entire administration, and they could come after us with no hesitance. I mean, bragging about it, targeting people. I think it's just terrifying that they decided they didn't like the president of the United States. They were going to get rid of him, and they were quite open about it. They talked to each other about it. They even kept notes, as you just showed one of the notes. My guess is it goes much higher than this because this is not a bunch of rogue, mid-level intelligence agents who decide to take down a president of the United States. This goes much higher because, you know, rogue intelligence agents in the middle of the bureaucracy, this is not a mid-level government guy deciding to do it. This will go much higher. And I find it just terrifying because they almost got away with it. They came within an inch of getting away with it. They thought they were getting away with it. If Bill Barr hadn't become Attorney General, if he hadn't appointed John Durham, who's investigating all of this, investigating all the investigators, they would have gotten away from it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, this is costing you thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to defend yourself for something that, frankly, you were never a target of.
No, I was not. I mean, let's say it's high six figures, shall we say? And I think General Flynn is probably, I don't know, $5 or $6 million in legal fees. Now, people don't understand that you're never reimbursed for that. Your insurance doesn't pay for it. Your former government agency doesn't. And that, because of that fact, the people, the FBI, the Mueller investigation, they know it. So they know they can not only intimidate you, they can deny you access to your files, they can set you up in perjury traps, they can do gotcha questions. But they know at the end of the day, even if they can't charge you with a crime because you didn't commit one, they can bankrupt you. And they use that as a weapon against an awful lot of people. And those are, you know, Sean, those are really powerful tools. You're a military officer, you understand this. These are powerful tools we give the intelligence community and our law enforcement community. And that's a good thing when they're going after terrorists and mass murderers. But they've used those powers and those tools to go after political opponents, or when they didn't like the results of an election, to go after a duly elected president of the United States. Yeah. I mean, you know, you fill in the blank, conspiracy, treason, whatever, but it certainly isn't the United States of America that all of us think it is. And the FBI, who I always thought were the good guys, they were not the good guys in this case.
Yeah. Charlie Daniels is a country music star, but he's also been a huge supporter of our veterans. He's doing great work. Check it out.
Especially now, I've seen a change. Of course, this is exacerbated. This COVID thing has really tightened things up, and a lot of the veterans are out of work, like a lot of other people are, and this situation has exacerbated a lot of the ordinary, the regular sources of funds, and a lot of them are in very, very serious condition. I mean, down to needing food and rent and mortgage payments and that sort of thing. So yes, right now, especially, there's more need than I have ever seen.
Hey, thanks for tuning in this week. Set your DVRs or watch it live 6 o'clock every night or 9 o'clock every night on Newsmax. Go to SeanSpicer.com to find out where you can watch it.